Hey everybody, it's your boy, Big LPHD, Big LPHD. Here on this channel, I think I'm adjusting a little bit, right? I want to talk about mostly about my PhD journey and how you can make it too, but I also want to bring in some life coaching skills and thoughts and a framework that we can, become a more well-rounded person. So whether you're here to learn about, my journey into getting my doctorate, or you want to hear about life skills, this is definitely the place for you. And I wanted to talk about something I saw on Miss. It was a video. It was a short snippet in Miss Dr. Joy DeGruy, Degruy, Dr. Joy DeGruy, and she's a clinical psychologist. Did a lot of work, and there's a lot of videos of her. I think early 2010s or so, 2008, something like that. They're probably still up on YouTube. She wrote a fantastic book. I actually reached out to her to be on my podcast before, but she was taking a break at that time. So apparently she's back at it again. I don't know. Smart lady, smart lady. And she talked about a study, and I mentioned this in a previous video. She talked about a study, and she's in a clinical world way more than I am. I have my master's in psychology, and I don't really study that much about psychology unless there's an interesting phenomenon. Like if she mentioned this study, I'll try to go find it and read. I haven't read it yet. But I try to read more organizational type of stuff because my doctorate is in leadership. So I try to read more organizational management, leadership type of stuff, as well as criminal justice stuff now. So I'm kind of trying to keep my hand in the somewhat in the psychological world. Sometimes I'll read a forensic article or whatever, but if it's police related, things along those lines. So I try to keep my hand in a lot of different pies. It's kind of hard. So anyway, so I'm talking. So Mr. Joy DeGruy was talking about the difference between men and women and how men deal with traumatic situations, right? They're going through a problem, not traumatic situations, but they're dealing with a stressful situation, right? I want to make a differentiation between that. They're dealing with a stressful situation. They got a problem at work, or their mother's sick, or they got some stressful event, right? In comparison to ladies, the ladies will, when going through some type of similar event, they will call up their girlfriends and they have a big wine party, or they'll get together and have dinner, or maybe eat, break out the ice cream or whatever they do, and then they'll decompress and they'll talk about their problems and issues and all that. So, and the contention or the study, which they're trying to link it to, social scientists are very, 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 very. That's why That's why they're called soft science. It's not really, hard concrete evidence. It's more of a correlation than the causation, right? So the study was aiming to, with the correlation, or what they're trying to say, what Ms. Joy DeGruy was trying to say, is that this may be a factor as to why women generally live longer than men. I'm not sure I'm buying this. I'm not sure I'm buying this, but I think it's interesting to at least for a discussion that if there is a situation where this is going on, and there's a stressful event, men are powering in and John Henry and saying, I don't need to call anybody, I can do this by myself, I got this, and I don't need help, I'll get it done, and versus where women are getting it off their chest, then there could be something to that. Very well could be. It very well could be, right? And so Mr. DeGruy was saying, or Dr. DeGruy was saying, that there's that the correlation is there, and this would help people to live longer. My contention is that that particular phenomenon is a reward system thing, right? It's a reward system. She was talking about the socialization. So she was saying we need to socialize. The implication of what she was saying, if not actually what she was saying, is that we need to socialize our men to be more open to receiving help from their peers. I will agree with that. The problem is, and I would also agree that men need to cry. There is all type of, again, there's different studies. Not only one Mr. DeGruy is mentioning. If I can find it, I'll take a picture of it. I haven't looked for it yet, but I'll try to find it, and then I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it up here. If I can't, then I couldn't find it. But there are also studies about the benefits of crying, getting things off your chest, right? And men have been socialized not to cry. I agree with that. But we had to look at the reward system. Again, my master's is in psychology. I have a doctorate not in education. I have a doctorate in leadership. So I've studied the social sciences to a great degree, And when we look at systems of rewards and punishment, and this is done in the psychological field, it's done in the sociological field, it's done in the leadership field, organizational management, organizational leadership, organizational psychology. It's all the same, right? So we take a look at all that type of stuff, and we look at rewards and punishments, right? How do we motivate employees? How do we motivate classrooms, right, as instructors? How do we, or teachers, right, how do they motivate their students? How, we look at this, right? We look at all this type of thing. How do we motivate these people? So when you look at male female relationships and male male relationships, right, because your relationships with your male counterparts is based on based on a system of rewards and punishments, right? Male, female, right? So if women are generally say that they want a man who's a protector, provider, and all that, you can't. So that way men have been traditionally socialized to be this thing, to be this way, because there's a reward for it. There's a reward within the physical world, right? The more stoic you are, the more you can get things done, the more that you can interact with your peers, the more they respect you for your stoicism. They look for you as a symbol of strength and as a pillar of strength. So there's some type of reward system that is reinforcing your behaviors. At the same time, the ladies who are attracted to that type of thing because this guy is successful. How is it that he's so successful? How is he's driving his car? How is he's working his job? How is it he's ahead of this company? All that. So a system of rewards and punishment. So if there's a desire for the socialization to change, then the socialization to change as to what people will reward has to change, right? There's no sense in me going to work crying, being less than masculine, being less than, and now I'm being passed over for promotions. I can't get certain jobs, and all that. And then the other point is that the ladies don't like, not only from my physical presentation and the way I interact with individuals. They don't like I'm crying. They don't like how soft I am. They don't like I'm performing at a higher emotional rate than before. Then then people are going to look at that and say, man, he's not getting any type of reward system from his company, from his peers, or from the ladies. So they're not going to imitate and emulate that. So if we want it, so here's what I'm saying. There's all this talk about men, all this talk about the reward system. You want to change the reward system. You want to change, I don't know where I'm going to put this at. I don't know if I'm going to put this on Big L PhD or if I'm going to put this on Captain Hunter's podcast. I'm thinking about this. So you have to change the reward system. If you want to change the way that men act, and I'm not saying this is true either way. I'm just saying you have to change the reward system, and that means, and everybody has to be in on it. So this seems to be the way that they want society to go. But you have to change the reward system, and I don't think that given the current state of affairs that the reward system can be changed. Because I think that ladies want a certain thing. They want somebody who's tall, dark, handsome, and who's stoic, and who's not so much stoic. They probably wouldn't say that. They probably wouldn't say stoic, but they would probably say that they want someone who's tall, dark, and handsome, who's making a certain amount of money and possesses some certain attributes and qualities, such as leadership qualities and some aspects of being able to protect. So that presents a certain way. Your ability to protect, provide, and to lead presents a certain way. People are not going to follow an hysterical leader. There was a study done about airline stewardesses during turbulent times. I always found that study to be ironic because the captain of the ship has to say the ship, the airplane had to say, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be experiencing some turbulent air, and we're going to need you to buckle in and put your seatbelts on, and flight attendants, please also suspend the refreshment session for now. And right, he's got to do this, and he knows what's coming, but he has to remain calm, or they, even the female flight attendant, they have to remain calm. They have to remain calm. So yes, the flight attendants do, and it's great that they do, and all that, right? They're doing their thing, right? But everybody has to remain calm. We're expecting everybody to remain calm, and that type of even keel stoicism has to be exemplified in a relationship. It has to be exemplified in. It has to be exemplified at all times. And if you're going to be a leader, protector, provider, this is what you're going to. This is what you're going to do. This is where you have to be. So I want to talk about the systems of rewards and punishment of male and female and all that. So Miss Joy DeGruy talked about this. She talked about this and men living longer. And the suggestion was if we socialize men to be more like women, in that respect, it would get them to live longer. So here it is again that men are not, I don't think that they mean to say it. I don't think that they mean to say it. I don't think that they mean to say it. But and listen, I'm all for men living longer. Exercise, eat right, right? Well, you go to the doctor, get your prostate checked, all that. Yeah, let's do it. But we can look at the way that the men and women are socialized and try to understand this thing. So, I don't know. I just thought I'd break that down for us and take a look at that. So, there is a certain level of stoicism that has to be presented. So, and there's also a time and a place for getting together with friends. And I certainly agree. Let me finish off with this for the men's issues. I certainly agree that you ought to have one or two friends as your aces. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I don't think I disagree with Miss Georgia Grew at all, but certainly you should not keep things bottled up. You should cry. You shouldn't do it in front of other people. But man, when you're home alone and you're going through it with your wife, you're going through it with your job and your kids, man, they're really disappointing you or whatever. Cry. You got some bad news. Listen, your test results came back. Cry. It's therapeutic. It is. You don't have to tell everybody you did it. But let it out. Call your boys up, people you trust and love, and let it out. Let it out and take it in. By taking in, I mean get some good exercise. Breathe in, breathe out. Get some good food, nutrition, diet, exercise, fruits, vegetables, seeds. What they call them G-bombs, right? Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, seeds, G-bombs. Get that stuff in you. I just want to finish with that. But let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Much love and peace, everyone.